Welcome, wrestling warriors. You're tuned in to Wrestle Watch Central, your daily dose of WWE. Hit that bell, and let's get started. Professional wrestling is more than scripted fights and flashy titles. It is about struggle, resilience, and authenticity. At AEW Worlds End, Jon Moxley delivered a moment that transcended victory, connecting deeply with fans and wrestlers alike. This wasn't just another championship celebration. It was a declaration of respect for everyone who sacrifices, grinds, and bleeds in this industry. Surrounded by the Death Riders, Moxley used his post-match platform to honor the unseen effort behind the spectacle, demonstrating that a championship can symbolize collective perseverance, loyalty, and the human spirit. This is a story that speaks to the heart of wrestling, blending emotion, purpose, and legacy into one unforgettable scene. A championship earned through pain. When Moxley finally stood in the ring with the championship draped over his shoulder, it wasn't the typical celebratory moment. Every movement of his body reflected the physical toll of the match, the exhaustion from pushing through extreme pain, and the determination that only elite athletes can understand. The championship was more than a title. It symbolized endurance, sacrifice, and sheer willpower. The crowd's roar amplified the reality of his effort, giving the moment weight and authenticity. Instead of leaning into flashy theatrics, Moxley chose to let his performance and struggle speak. The Death Riders surrounding him emphasized the collective nature of wrestling success. The power of brotherhood. Moxley's victory was made even more meaningful by the presence of the Death Riders. These allies stood not as decoration, but as symbols of loyalty, shared struggle, and unity. Their silent support reinforced that wrestling is rarely a solo journey. It thrives on collaboration, trust, and teamwork. Each Death Rider represented the countless hours of preparation, the bruises, the sacrifices, and the moments of doubt every wrestler faces behind the curtain. Moxley's acknowledgement of them turned the championship into a testament to collective effort. The audience could sense the bond and the unspoken history between them, which elevated the celebration from individual achievement to communal triumph. Rejecting the conventional victory speech. As the microphone was brought forward for the traditional post-match hype, Moxley immediately took control of the moment and changed its trajectory. Instead of delivering a predictable victory speech or focusing on self-praise, he shut down the standard script. His words were blunt, honest, and intentional, emphasizing that this championship was bigger than his personal glory. By rejecting the conventional formula, Moxley demonstrated a rare authenticity rarely seen in wrestling promos. He addressed the unseen wrestlers who give their all night after night and spoke to the fans who recognize and respect the grind. This deliberate deviation from expectation made the segment feel real and grounded. Fans could relate to the sincerity, while fellow wrestlers felt acknowledged and validated. It wasn't about spectacle, it was about truth, respect, and the human struggle embedded in every match. Honoring the unsung competitors, Moxley used the platform not to elevate himself, but to highlight the effort of every competitor in the Continental Classic. He spoke directly about the men who push themselves to their limits, who endure exhaustion and punishment, and who dedicate their lives to the sport without guarantees of recognition. The championship was framed as a symbol of collective perseverance, where the value lies not just in winning, but in surviving and thriving through hardship. The crowd responded with genuine emotion, not to hype or theatrics, but because the acknowledgement of hard work resonated on a deeply human level. By giving voice to those often overlooked, Moxley transformed the post-match moment into a tribute to the grind of professional wrestling, turning his victory into a celebration of effort, resilience, and the unseen heroism of the sport. The emotional weight of survival. Watching Moxley climb the turnbuckle and absorb the moment, fans could see the toll the match had taken on his body. His exhaustion was evident, yet so was his intensity and determination. The championship became more than gold. It was proof of survival and commitment. This visual, combined with his speech, created an emotional resonance that extended beyond the ring. Fans weren't just witnessing a scripted event, They were watching a narrative of resilience, where struggle and endurance were at the forefront. Wrestling, at its best, connects human emotion with physical performance, and this moment exemplified that fusion. It reminded audiences that champions are not defined solely by victories, but by their ability to endure, push forward, and represent the shared journey of those who compete alongside them. The symbolism of the Death Riders. The presence of the Death Riders amplified the emotional and symbolic impact of the moment. Standing beside Moxley, they represented the loyalty, trust, and shared battles that underpin every championship run. Their silent solidarity reinforced the idea that wrestling success is never purely individual. It is built on collective effort and mutual respect. The visual of the group surrounding the champion created a narrative of unity and brotherhood, highlighting that the journey matters as much as the destination. It reminded fans that wrestling is a shared experience, where victories are shaped by the dedication and sacrifices of a community, not just one person. The Death Riders became living proof of the narrative Moxley articulated, one of collaboration, endurance, and mutual recognition. Authenticity over spectacle. Moxley's approach defied the flashy theatrical norm of post-match celebrations. There were no elaborate pyrotechnics, no self-congratulatory gestures, and no forced hype. Instead, the segment emphasized authenticity, sincerity, and the emotional truth of what it means to fight and endure. Fans could feel the rawness of the moment, and it resonated more deeply than any scripted promo could. By centering the story on real struggle and acknowledgement of shared effort, Moxley reminded the audience that wrestling is not just about winning, it's about sacrifice, heart, and the relentless pursuit of improvement. Authenticity became the anchor for this segment, showing that sometimes the most powerful moments in wrestling come from honesty and connection, not spectacle. Fan connection and engagement. The crowd's reaction throughout Moxley's post-match promo reflected the power of genuine storytelling. Fans responded not to spectacle, but to truth. Their cheers, gasps, and applause created a shared energy that enhanced the authenticity of the moment. Fans could see themselves in the struggles Moxley described, whether as competitors striving to prove themselves or as supporters who understand the sacrifices involved. The interaction between performer and audience blurred the lines between scripted entertainment and real emotion. By speaking directly to the challenges faced by wrestlers and acknowledging the fans' role in the journey, Moxley created a powerful connection that extended beyond the arena. Redefining the champion's role. Moxley redefined what it means to be a champion in professional wrestling. A true champion, as demonstrated here, is not only measured by victories or titles, but by the ability to elevate others, recognize collective effort, and inspire through authentic storytelling. His words and actions illustrated that the belt is more than personal glory. It represents the struggle, sacrifice, and commitment of every participant in the sport. By framing the championship as a symbol of shared resilience, Moxley shifted the narrative focus from individual achievement to communal recognition. This perspective challenges conventional wrestling storytelling and offers a model of leadership rooted in respect, humility, and emotional intelligence, elevating the art form to something that resonates with both fans and performers. A lasting moment in wrestling history. Moments like Moxley's post-match speech have the power to transcend a single show or event. This wasn't about hype or future storylines. It was about creating an unforgettable memory rooted in human experience. Fans and wrestlers alike will remember this as a defining instance of respect, unity, and the celebration of hard work. By emphasizing the collective struggle and honoring the unseen effort, the segment stands out as one of the most authentic and emotionally resonant in recent memory. It reinforces why professional wrestling connects with audiences on a personal level. It tells stories about perseverance, courage, and humanity. Moxley's actions ensured that this moment will live on, not just in highlight reels, but in the hearts of everyone who witnessed it. Legacy and impact on the wrestling community. By addressing the grind and acknowledging his peers, Moxley reinforced a legacy of authenticity and respect. His actions remind the wrestling world that championships are not just accolades, but symbols of resilience, dedication, and shared experience. This segment inspires wrestlers to value their journey and fans to appreciate the human effort behind the spectacle. The respect shown through these moments sets a standard for storytelling in the industry, proving that impact comes from sincerity and connection rather than theatrics alone. Moxley's speech at AEW Worlds End will influence future promotions and performers, showing that honoring the craft and those who dedicate themselves to it can create powerful, lasting narratives that resonate far beyond the arena.